Hey bro, how's it going? Welcome to this video and congrats for being here because this is one of the most important videos I've ever made and it's probably one of the most important topics I've ever talked about. And it has to do with the value of your attention. One of the most tragic things that young people and especially young men are never talked to about is the sheer value of their attention. So if I were to ask you right now, what is the most important resource that you have? You're probably going to tell me time, because that's what you've been trained to say. However, if you think about it, it's not exactly time, because let's say that you want to learn something new, or you want to learn a new language, you want to learn Spanish, and you go and you sit your ass down in a Spanish class and just wait. Will you learn Spanish? Obviously not, because you're not paying attention. In order to actually learn Spanish, you don't just have to stay in the class, you also have to pay attention. So it's not exactly the time that's valuable, it's the attention behind the time that's valuable. And alright, that's fine and dandy, so it's easy to understand. The more attention that we have is a finite resource, we only have so much attention in a day. So what? What's the big idea behind this video? Well, the big idea behind this video is that you are wasting your attention. And I'm not talking about you just wasting your time looking at ads on Instagram. That's not even the full extent of it. I believe that a misunderstanding of how valuable your attention is actually seeps into all facets of your life. And one of the most insidious ways in which it affects you is that it completely fucks up your confidence. You cannot be confident if you do not understand the value of your attention. So this right here, this video is meant to show you just how fucking powerful your attention is. Alright, so without further ado, let's look. Why is attention powerful? Why is it valuable in the slightest? Well, before I answer that question, I would like you to take a minute. Just after I say this sentence, just pause the video and think for 1 minute. Alright? So here's what I want you to think about. Just sit down and imagine your perfect life. I want you to imagine a life that's populated with everything that you want. You have the type of relationships that you want, you have the type of friendships that you want, you're exactly in the place you want to be, you're in the country that you want to be, you do the activity that you want to do. So if you want to work a job, you can work a job. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. If you want to just fucking live off your savings, you can do that. And I want you to make a crystal clear picture of how this life looks for you. Alright, take 30 seconds, pause this video and think about it. Alright, so if you did the exercise, now you have a pretty cool picture of your perfect life. You can think about it like, yeah, I actually want to live in Miami and I want to work from my laptop and I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have tons of friends and I want to have this gorgeous girlfriend. Instagram model level girlfriend. Cool. Now, I want you to realize that every single thing that you thought about, the fact that you want to live in Miami, the fact that you want to be an entrepreneur, the fact that you want to have a gorgeous girlfriend, or the fact that you want to have really cool friends. All of these things, you have to think of them as being items in a shop, for lack of a better description. And the way that you purchase them is by trading your attention for the outcome. So let's say that you want to be an entrepreneur. How is that going to happen? Well, first of all, you're probably going to have to learn some sort of skill, because who the fuck hires an unskilled entrepreneur? I'm not talking about university or whatever, but if you want to actually provide some sort of value, you have to have some sort of skill, right? And in order to learn the skill, you guessed it, you have to spend your attention on that. And after that, you have to spend your attention on learning how to sell. You're gonna have to spend your attention on learning how to make an actual good product, how to get leads, how to price stuff, and how to do all these different stuff. Let's say that you want to have a gorgeous girlfriend. Guess what you need to spend in order to get a gorgeous girlfriend? You guessed it, You have to spend attention. You have to spend attention in learning how to look good, how to dress, and how to go to the gym. So you're actually an attractive person. Then you have to learn to spend attention and learn how you should talk to that person. Depending on the setting in which you to meet, you have to learn either to approach her and how to not be a creep, or how to be charismatic, and all this stuff, like all the little variables that come into constructing the type of life that you want. All these things are bought by selling your attention for them. So now that we have this framework in place, let's think about it. So what I'm telling you is that when you're bored, you have this chunk of attention, you have this big bag of attention, and you can choose how you spend it. And if you spend it just right, you might as well just buy your dream life. So your attention is literally your dream life, if you spend it right. Of course, if you don't spend it right, you're just gonna waste it. So if you keep scrolling on Instagram, every scroll you do on Instagram is just a little bit farther away from your dream life. You're just being taken away from all your little dreams every single scroll you take. But this is not the video that I want to make, because everybody talks about how shit Instagram is, and that's fine. But I don't want to talk about the same thing. What I want to talk about is how people in your life drain your attention and you don't even realize it. So here's a very specific scenario I want to talk about. Let's say that you have a friend, and every single time you set up a meeting with him, he shows up 40 minutes late. And you think to yourself, like, oh my god, this guy is such a fucking asshole. But every time he calls you, you're gonna be like, yeah, sure, fuck it, I'm gonna answer to him because he's my friend. Same thing, like, let's say that you need help from him. You call him up and he doesn't answer, or whatever, he ignores you. But then again, you rationalize it in your mind, like, yeah, he's my friend. Of course, I'm just gonna let it slide. Or let's say that you've been talking to this girl and you want to get her out on a date. You've been talking to her every day and she just doesn't want to go on a date with you. Or rather, she doesn't say outright that she doesn't want to go on a date with you. She just says, like, for instance, let's say that you ask her out. Yo, let's go grab some coffee. And she's going to answer with, yeah, maybe someday. That's another scenario. Or let's take the scenario of classic one. You're taking out your phone, you're whipping out your phone, you go on Instagram and you start looking at this girl's profile. She has a fat ass. Just stay there and scroll. You know you're never gonna talk to this girl. You know she's going to ignore you if you message her, or maybe you message her and lo and behold she ignored you. But still, you decide to go and scroll on. What is going on in here? Well, what is going on in here is that you're being tricked into participating into a trade that's bad for you. And here's exactly how it happens. So let's take the example of a friend, the shit friend, right? I want you to stop thinking that friendship is real. And I know it sounds shocking as fuck, but I want you to think of every single interaction with someone, and just take this as a thought experiment if nothing else. Just think of every single interaction with someone as a trait. So what exactly is the trait that's being taken here? What's going on in here? Well, what's happening is that you're trading your attention, your potential, for something that this person is offering you. So generally speaking, the way it works in a healthy friendship is that each of the parties is trading their attention as well as some sort of value that they provide. So for instance, if I were to hang out with you, what value could I provide with you? Well, I could talk about the experiences I had, and I could share my experiences on entrepreneurship or fitness or whatever. I could listen to you, and I could genuinely be present with you, and that's a form of value that's being offered. I can be a good friend. I can be there for you and help you when shit gets rough. That's another form of value. And you get my gist. And in this way, I can make you an offer. I can make you a trade in which you trade a bit of your potential, a bit of your attention, a bit of your dream life for something that's worth it. So for instance, like if you have your resource, your attention, and I offer you like, hey, if you decide to offer me a bit of your attention, I'm going to provide you with a very good friend. And you decide, you know what, that's actually a very good trade. I want some good friends in my life, so there you go. Here's the attention. And this trade goes both ways. But let's say that I have my attention, I choose to give it to you, and when I choose to give it to you, you don't give me the value. So how does that look like? It looks like being late to our meetings. It looks like to not helping me when I need you to help me. It looks like all this bullshit, right? It looks like leaving me on scene. And then I think about it, like, let's get rid of this whole concept of friendship. And let's look at the trade here. So what's happening? It's happening that I'm giving you a bit of attention. And keep in mind, what does this attention mean? Again, this attention is the resource I can trade to create my dream life. So I decide to give you this extremely valuable resource and give it in exchange for what? I'm giving you this resource in exchange for you being late. I'm giving you this resource in exchange of you leaving me on scene. And if you think about it, through that lens, you start realizing that you're allowing some really shit deals in your life, and you might allow them because of the fear of being alone. But when you think of the price that you actually pay in order to be in that relation, in that friendship, or in that relation as well, maybe it's the exact same dynamic with the girl that you're seeing. If you think of the price of the opportunity cost that comes with that, you start realizing that, wait a second, I'm giving a lot to this person and I'm not getting that much back. You know what? Maybe I should stop returning their calls. Maybe I should stop messaging them. Maybe I should stop opening their messages. Maybe I should start drawing some clear boundaries. Let's take the other example. Let's say that the girl that you're texting on Instagram and she doesn't want to come to coffee with you. What are you doing? You're trading your attention. You're trading your dream life in Miami. You're trading your dream life of being an entrepreneur and changing lives in exchange for what? In exchange for this chick just being wishy-washy and wasting your time. You're like, all right, so I give out my dream life in Miami for you not coming out. How the fuck does this work? How the fuck is this a fair trade? And then you realize, like, yo, wait a second, why am I wasting time on this girl? And you just cut her off and you find someone else to talk to. You're scrolling on Instagram and you're looking at chicks with fat asses. What is the trade here? I'm trading that BMW, or I'm trading that successful business, or I'm trading whatever the fuck that you want out of this life for staring at this girl that doesn't even know that I exist. What kind of trade is that? And this is exactly what the power of knowing the value of your attention is. Because before, if you never thought about it, if you never thought about how incredibly powerful and valuable your attention is, you might have had trouble drawing the line. You might have had trouble saying, you know what, maybe I should cut off this guy. Because in the back of your head, you would be like, yeah, but he's a friend and it doesn't cost me anything. Yes, it does. It costs you a fucking lot. You just don't realize it. Right. And now you might be thinking, but Mihai, I don't feel like my attention is worth that much. What can I do to increase the value of how powerful my attention is? Well, I'm probably going to talk about this in a different video because this is a whole other can of worms, and I think it's a very important topic in its own right, but I'm going to just touch on it right now. So, if you want your attention to be powerful, what you want to do is stop thinking about yourself. What the fuck does that mean? It's actually, look, so if I ask you, what is your dream life? And you can say, yeah, I want to have a business and I want to go to Miami and we already talked about it. That's cool. That already gives your attention some value because, of course, it's your dream life and it has some sort of value. But on a deep level, you might still feel like, yeah, but it's not that valuable. The way you change it, and the way you change it on a deep level, the way you actually start really valuing your attention, is when instead of thinking about how you're going to live in Miami, you start taking that focus and placing it on other people. You're gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck? We just talked about how you shouldn't place your attention on other people, and you should keep it to yourself, and how does that make any sense? All right, take this example. Let's say that you want to be a YouTuber. You're very good at, actually, let's say that you want to help people make friends. That's just your thing. Let's say that you're in university and for your whole life in high school you had problems with making friends. You were awkward, you were not charismatic, you were just kind of twitchy and weird. But after a few years of working on yourself, you figured out that, hey, this is the way in which I can be more smooth and I can make friends. You're like, cool. I wonder if I can help some people with this. When you start thinking in terms of impact, that's when your value really becomes valuable. When your attention really becomes valuable. So what do I mean by this? If instead of thinking about making a fuckload of money for yourself, if you start thinking about making an impact in the world and changing the lives of people, your value is going to rise exponentially. Why? Because now your attention is not only about yourself. Your attention is about yourself and about 100,000 other people, 1,000,000 other people. Let's say that you want to become a YouTuber, you want to build a business. These things are going to change the lives of an enormous amount of people. And that's what's going to keep pushing you. Look, I'm going to give you an example from my own life. One of my purposes is that I want to help young men become strong. I want to help young men become strong mentally, physically, financially, socially. And that's one of my purposes. And I see myself helping hundreds of thousands of people, even if I'm not in the position right now. But in the future, I see myself doing that. And now suddenly, when a friend that, I don't know, has disrespected me, let's say, in the past, reaches out, it's suddenly not about me anymore. It's about me and the 100,000 other people that I'm going to help. And this is going to change you on a deep level. It's going to change how you walk. It's going to change how you think about yourself. It's going to change how you see yourself as a person on a deep level. It's going to transform you. But yeah, I think that this video is probably long enough already, and I think we went all over the place, so I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, bro, I hope you derive some sort of value from this, and I hope that it touched on a topic that you didn't really hear discussed before, because Honestly, I didn't. Honestly, I had to find this out on my own. I had to rip little bits of information from different places, different books, different channels, different audiobooks, and I had to kind of stitch them together and glue them together with my own experience in order to come up with this idea that I'm presenting to you right now. And I'm hoping that you are going to find some sort of use for this idea as well. That's it. So if you like this, drop me a sub. I'm still growing the channel, so I would really appreciate it if you subbed and liked this video. And also reach out to me. You know, like, I'm gonna drop my Instagram in the description of this video. Just reach out to me. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your story. Let's talk. Anyways, bro, have a nice one. Catch you in a bit.